Your childhood is potentially ruined on this edition of Gene and Roger Talk Movies. We're talking about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Here's your spoiler warning. It's playing right now. Gene, initial thoughts on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Roger, we have got to do something different here. I think this is like number 4 in a row of a movie that I just hated, abhorred. Yeah. It's just I don't even know where to start with this thing. It's just a mess. I think the franchise was A.L. Milne is the author, but it just went to public domain just recently. So I just think these guys just said, hey, let's just make this movie. Let's just do it as quickly as we can. Just get it out there. We just get this big guys. We'll put some like Santa, some stuffing in the tummy to make him look big. Throw some overalls on him. Put a bear mask on him. And the other dude, same thing. We'll just put a pig mask on him, and they'll go around slashing, size 6 women wearing tight shirts. Throw in a bare breast there. Boom. We got a movie. This is complete. It's cheap. It's a total ripoff. It's just no good at all. There's no plot. There's no action. There's really nothing here, Roger.
Well, and I'm gonna say I did really enjoy the opening.
I knew it.
The opening cinematic with the hand-drawn animation, where they were setting up the tale, right? Because basically the idea is that Christopher Robin, right? He's befriended Pooh and all his little buddies, but then he goes away to school, and this is all done in hand-drawn still scenes. And then he goes away to school, which turns them into, they don't know how to take care of themselves. They start turning feral. There's a great shot where they are all emaciated, and then Eeyore is in like the cave all scared, and he's all emaciated because they're coming to cannibalize him so they can live. I was like, when I was watching that, I was like, oh, we might really be onto something here with this film.
No, they're not on anything.
And then the movie proper starts, and is it good?
The best part of the movie was that opening sequence. Mm-hmm. And once it starts, it's just downhill quickly from then.
Well, and I liked how they tried to set up that main girl as like having this traumatic backstory with this person who was doing home invasions and was being her stalker. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, she had a counselor, and it's just some red herring thing. They're trying
to matter at all. Yeah,
give depth to the movie. It was just why. It's why. It's just, it doesn't add anything to the show.
No,
nothing at all.
And at the end of the film, of course, it was completely irrelevant because
they don't go back to it. They don't reference it again. It doesn't develop that character at all.
And she gets stabbed to death.
She gets killed anyway. So what's the point? She gets killed. She's not even the last surviving girl, and there is no last surviving woman. They all end up being
they
dead.
got all killed. Yeah,
they were all killed. Yeah, it's just movies like this are so frustrating to watch because it's like, look, I get it. That this movie falls into a subgenre of horror movies where, boom, they're produced cheaply. Yeah, all the women are size 6 and wearing tight shirts, and there's a bare breast in there. And we've all seen those movies, and it's slasher and stabs and blood and sure, I get it. But, it just makes me think it's so cheap because they just put a little more thought into the thing. And you could have made this, really scary, But again, it's cheap stuff. Like Winnie the Pooh is somehow imbued with, this super strength now. Can't be killed. So, was this Freddy or Jason or
right.
whatever?
Any of them, yeah.
Yeah, like any of them. Yeah, he can't be killed no matter what you do to him. Might as well just run him over with the tank and he'll still live. Mm-hmm. But, it's what's up with that? Where did that come from? It's just cheap. It's so cheap.
Well, and I think, and Gene clearly hates this movie. I actually don't hate this movie. Yeah. Wow. But of course that's me. I pretty much like everything. But I think if you're into extremely low budget, high concept films, because this movie lives and dies on its premise, right? Yeah. What if Winnie the Pooh was this homicidal maniac? And I'm buying that ride, right? And I know it's going to be this cheap, low-budget piece of garbage. It could have been done better, no question.
Yeah.
And I think some of the bigger problems with the film are, one, there's no story at all. But
there's
two,
no story at all.
The effects work of the masks, they are basically immobile. There's a couple scenes where they try to imbue movement into these
It was
masks,
just like
and
this
they're just so
styrofoam nonsense.
stiff and not able to really
it's just really
work.
cheap.
And they needed to do a better job. And as I was watching it, I was going, the two directors who could have made this movie really great, like a cult favorite that would live for all time, Sam Raimi or early Peter Jackson, because this movie is trying to emulate those concepts, the Evil Dead concept, and then like Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles or Dead Alive or Bad Taste, where they're really these over-the-top, almost comedic, but still really gory and splattery. Because there is some really good gore effects in this. When Winnie the Pooh is driving the car, which was hilarious, he runs over
Yeah, I
this
wrote a
girl's
note on
head.
that. When did he learn how to drive?
When did he learn how to drive?
They
But-
drove over the girl's head. Yeah, her
and
eyes
that
eyes
gore
were popping
effect,
out.
yeah, that gore effect was really good. They do a lot of CGI blood, which is not all that great, but the practical
Yeah,
parts of
they
the
put
head
the girl
crushing,
into like the crusher or something
right,
like
the
that.
car crusher.
The car crusher or something like yeah.
Yeah, so it tries to do certain things. It's got a little Texas Chainsaw vibe there too, because it's got, Winnie the Pooh's little home base is just corpses everywhere and body parts here, body parts there, and hooks hanging around and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it tried to take itself way more seriously than I think it should have done. It should
Yeah,
have
they
been.
should have gone comedy horror on this one for
Yeah,
sure.
it should have been more in the vein of Evil Dead or like Dead Alive.
Right, or like what's a Zombieville, or one of those movies
right.
like that. Like those guys.
Yeah, because at the end of
Shaun of the Dead, if they gone like that, it's been a lot better.
Yeah, and I don't know how the audience was with you, but the audience I was watching it with, they were into it. And so there was a lot. This reminded me a lot of a throwback to when in the 80s when I was seeing every slasher movie there was at the theater, and there was a lot of audience participation. And so unlike last week's movie Skinamarink, where you need to watch it by yourself, I think watching this one by yourself, there is probably no chance you're going to like it. But with a theater who are really into
What were
it.
your people doing?
So they were really big on anytime there was, because there's this dramatic music that plays anytime Winnie the Pooh moves suddenly, and they were just vibing off of that. And so it's like there's this scene where he's like forcing the honey into his immobile mask, and the girl is tied up kind of off to the side, and then she makes a whimper or whatever, and then he turns his face towards the camera, and then it's like dun and all that. Audiences were loving those scenes like that.
What? How do you know they were loving?
Because they were laughing and they were like applauding. They applauded at the end when the end credits came up and it said Winnie the Pooh will return. They applauded. And it wasn't a.
They were probably drunk. I'm sure
it
they
wasn't
were
a few,
drinking.
right?
They were drinking
There was
heavily,
like
I'm sure.
there was like 35 people in the audience when I was there.
No, not that many people when I saw
Yeah,
it.
and so
maybe 11.
And so I give it a little bit.
But
of
I didn't hear anything. There was
Yeah.
like when the girl got her head run over. There was like somebody said, "Oh, cool." I can hear that in the background. But that was pretty quiet. Roger, I'm just not buying it. It's just, yeah. I just kept thinking, it's like I think this movie would have been so much better if they had just like. First of all, it hadn't just been so cheap with making Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, or not Tigger, but Piglet. Yeah, just. I mean, come on! It's just a guy wearing a stupid mask.
It was immobile mask.
Why don't you make? Because in the comics they were little, so why don't you just keep them little? And maybe even have a small person or a kid put on a little costume like a bear. And you could come up with a quite realistic bear outfit because Winnie the Pooh is kind of like his yellow. It's got that suede kind of thing. Yeah, could you just put that on a little person and then maybe have like a story that kind of the actual movie would be their evolution of how they turn from some cute, adorable creatures and they evolved into these homicidal sociopath maniac killing machines. That evolution, like what led them to their first kill, and then their first kill, and maybe there's the girl survivor that makes it out. It's something like that. It's just like I kept thinking the whole time. It was like it could have been so much better with just a little bit more thought. But yeah,
Well, and I like that
just-
you brought up Tigger, right? Because Tigger is the only one of those
yeah,
characters
Tigger's not released yet.
not in public domain,
Not in
because
public
I was
domain yet.
hoping Tigger would show up, because there was the scene
Not in this movie.
scene near the end where Pooh is like surrounded by those redneck guys from the
Guys.
garage or whatever, and it looks like, oh, they're gonna beat him down, and there was your Tigger appearance that should have happened right there, where Tigger just comes in and wrecks them all. But no, he's
Yeah,
not in
that
this
would
one.
that would be good. Yeah, so it's
But I think if you're looking for well-developed characters, that doesn't exist. If you're looking for a story other than, hey, we're a bunch of girls going to this cabin,
they're going
over the
to
weekend.
Airbnb. You know, it's a little vacation. You know, why not? It's go out to the woods.
Mhm.
Sherwood Forest is the south of London. Yeah, it's a great time. It looks like a nice Airbnb there. You know, go out with your friends. There's a hot tub and an indoor pool with this Airbnb. Which, wow, what is that?
Well, and it's weird. I thought
That
it
was
was
cool. That was a cool setup.
It was. It's
It was like indoor lap pool.
because I thought it was a boathouse without the boat in it at first, and then I'm like, oh no, that's a pool in there. And
Yeah, it's a lap pool.
yeah,
It's
it
a
was
decent,
just like-
15-yard lap pool. It's like, what a cool Airbnb. I would go to that.
right.
You know, my gosh, I'd take my family, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't even know where to go with this thing. It's just like, I don't even know what to say.
Well,
It's
and
just-
there's really not a lot to say. That's the big problem with this film is
right. Like,
if-
where do you go? You know?
if you're into extremely low budget B horror films, if you liked the Banana Splits movie, if you liked The Mean One, which was the Grinch going on a homicidal killing spree, if you liked Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage, your chances of enjoying this film are pretty high. If you
Roger,
want,
you've seen way too many of these
if
movies.
you know that's my bread and butter, baby. But if you
They're rolling off your tongue a little too easily.
if you're looking for a film where there's, like I said, character development, a coherent story, it's legitimately trying to be scary, this isn't really it. You know, and
it's not. Yeah, like in a way, it begs the question. Well, what is scary? Like, you know, do you? Yeah, this movie's not scary on any level, but
no.
what is scary? It kind of begs that question: is scary? You know, those jump surprises, is that scary? Or is it seeing gore? Is that scary?
Right, and they
You know,
really
it's
weren't
like-
doing jump scares in this thing
No,
either,
real
which
jump scares.
there
yeah.
could have been a whole bunch of those in this one, and I'm surprised there wasn't. And I'm also surprised there wasn't more nudity in this, because
Right.
I saw it before Gene saw it yesterday, and I took a count because I was like, oh, I got to tell Gene how many bare breasts are in this thing, and it was just one little quick scene.
Yeah, I thought there would be a lot
Yeah,
more.
so
So
did
I despise movies like that. It's just like, I think it's just directors, producers put those things in there because they know that their story or what their premise is just weak, so they just add it. And it adds to the titillation factor or whatever.
Right.
Like in the movie Carrie, it's a great premise. The movie Carrie is great, but there's a shower scene. It's just completely unnecessary.
Right.
You know, it doesn't need to be there at all. Like, does it really add anything to the movie? No, nothing at all.
No,
So-
and I think, and again, I was surprised there wasn't a lot of nudity in this, because there really isn't anything else going on in this film.
Yeah.
You have some really good gore set pieces at various points,
Yeah.
but there isn't any building of tension really. It's
No
it's-
building of tension
it's,
at
it's
all.
just not really there with it.
Yeah, I kind of liked how the girl, like, I took care of Piglet with
Yeah,
the sledgehammer.
I know.
Yeah, she took care of him, and then I thought she would survive. Like, she would be the surviving female. You know, like horror movies always have to have that survivor female.
Mhm.
Like, what's the phrase for it? Is
Final girl.
final girl? Yeah. I thought she would be the final girl. No, then Winnie the Pooh shows up, knocks her out. But it just is like
Well,
it's just one kill after another kill.
Yeah.
There's no building of.
No, he just shows up and then rams that machete right through her mouth.
I know,
and
and then
everything.
it's just like what's.
But the other thing I will point out, I'm not a big fan of the camera work in this one either.
No, it's terrible.
Really overly shaky, unnecessarily shaky. I can maybe give it a pass during a big chase sequence, but the camera is shaking for no reason at all in certain scenes, and just kind of goes, I think, to this is a first-time director, probably a first-time cameraman, and they just really didn't film this very well.
Yeah.
Although I have noticed a lot of people complaining it's really dark. The showing I saw, I did not notice that it was too dark. So
Yeah, a lot of it's shot at night,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but you can see I'm at
Yeah.
my showing, Century movie theater. It's fine.
Yeah. But I am giving it a pass. I am recommending it. If you like those low budget ones, you should check it out. It lives just by its premise alone, though. Do you want to see Winnie the Pooh killing people? If you do, this is the
Yeah,
movie for
my
you.
thing is though it's what I really hated. It's just it's like calling a movie like a movie about Egypt, you know, and then all you have in your movie is just like a bunch of sand. You know, so it's like there is no Winnie the Pooh, there's no Piglet, there's sure they have some cheap signs that say 100 Acre Wood and
Which I
but
love the cheap sign.
it's like come on, there's no try a little bit harder to make your story believable. It's like you could have done it, and I think you could have done it easily.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, it would be just get a little person, put them in a bear outfit. You know, you could have make it horror with like, you know, they're starving and they're desperate and just like, oh, I'm good. They have an internal conflict, you know, with like being good or being bad, and all of a sudden they accidentally come across some corpse of some animal and they eat it. So, oh, I like this. You know, then they set up traps and they trap a young hiker. Then they accidentally in the fight they kill the guy, but then the girl escapes, or they have to chase down the girl somehow. And you have some scene where the girl's running, but Piglet's chasing her, but Piglet's little and he's cute. Wouldn't that be great? And then they finally catch her because she runs into the trap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Piglet's chasing her, and then Winnie the Pooh is like puts his little foot out and she trips. She hits her head on a rock. Oh, dude,
Well, and
awesome.
I think again that's
But
why I
no,
said
none of that. I just thought of that just right now.
yeah.
But
Well,
that's a better movie.
and I think that's where a more accomplished director, Sam Raimi, young Peter Jackson, I think would have had a movie maybe going in a direction like that where it's more fun to watch, because this one is just tries to be so serious when it shouldn't be.
Right.
It should definitely be more fun and light.
It should
than
be
it
fun
is.
and light. Yeah. I mean, come on, Winnie the Pooh. Come on.
But again, at the end it says Winnie the Pooh will return, and if that is true, I will be checking out the sequel.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out too. I mean, yeah. So what do I say? Well, yeah, they're going to get my money. So, but will I have any hope that the movie will be good on any level? Nope. But I'll have some cool popcorn, have a hot dog, and
Yeah.
hang out with my wife and have a date. I mean, every movie can't be some Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
Every movie can't be great. There's got to be some bad ones in there. So.
Yeah. So, Gene, any final thoughts on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and
Yeah,
Honey?
don't watch this movie. Really don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe really late at night, maybe go see it. Really late at night or something. But that's it. I don't know. Not even then. What am I saying? Just no, skip this one.
No, I'm giving a tepid recommendation. Gene, what are we doing next week?
I don't know. We keep talking about doing Chucky movies, but we kept not doing it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should do some serious scary movies.
So you want to do Frailty next week?
Yeah, Frailty like that, or maybe some.
Okay. Well.
It Comes at Night, or yeah.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out and
Or yeah,
go from there. So
yeah, we'll figure it out. But probably, I think we're gonna go with some serious.
yeah, I
scary
mean,
here.
basically, what you're hearing from Gene is he's kind of fed up with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
Yeah,
and
and
Skinamarink, and
let's
People
just
Under
try
the
to.
Stairs.
We all review horror movies, right? So where's the horror? Let's have a movie that's really scary. That I remember watching this movie. It Comes at Night. It's an A24. But after watching this movie, I turned it off, and I had to go lay down in my bed, and I just had to turn off the light, and I had just to be really still for a while. Because I felt like watching that movie had drained my humanity out of me. Yeah, seriously, I know it sounds weird, but yeah, the movie was so impactful. It was just so, disturbing. I just had to lay there quietly and just kind of just slowly let, my humanness come back to me. Something like that.
Well,
You know, something
now
that's like really,
now that you've said all that, I mean, we've got to do Bride of Chucky next week.
yeah, Bride of Chucky. Yeah, Bride of Chucky part 7.
You're right. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next week with whatever the heck it is we're
Yeah,
going to do.
whatever the heck we're doing. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.